Most entrepreneurs will tell you that the fastest way to grow is to get a coach. And I used to believe that, and I engaged in that. And I was even a coach myself. But at some point, I had to look at what was going on behind the coaching and actually take a different path. And so I was thinking today about the fact that I've spent, I think it was in 2022, I spent about $20,000 in coaching in 12 months. Like, the coaching industry was booming. I had decided that I was going to make six figures with the career coaching business. So I was like, I have to go all in and I'm just going to do whatever it takes to get, this thing off the ground. And I realized that I'm not saying coaching is bad by any means. I'm not saying coaching is bad. I just know that when I look back on it, it wasn't everything that it was made out to be. And so why did I spend so much? What did I even spend on? I spent on every kind of coaching you could think about. And I think coming from like a 9 to 5 background, the traditional path to getting good at something is taking a course, learning from a teacher, following somebody's framework that they made up. And so a lot of people, when they want to go from corporate into entrepreneurship, they take the same path. And I fell victim to it as well. And then when you go on social media and you see coaches seemingly meeting achieving the things that you want to achieve, it's very easy to believe that like, oh, I need to buy into their program, or oh, I need to do, you know, I need to figure out what they've done so I can get the success fast. And I think that's like the biggest scam of it all is that there is no fast. The journey is the journey. And I think that trying to get there so fast is why people are willing to do anything to get there, not realizing you can't do anything fast and that you can only learn at the pace you can really only learn to your current capacity. And so what I mean by that is I hired a coach for LinkedIn. I hired a coach for multiple coaches for marketing. I hired a coach for launching. I hired a coach for YouTube. I hired a coach for a podcast. Literally everything I wanted to do, and that's why I spent so much money and so fast. In such a short amount of time, I should say. Literally everything I want to do, I was like, I need a cheat code. I don't have time for it to take 12 months. I don't have to, you know what I mean? That kind of attitude. And it's funny because I was talking to one of my friends and she actually said that verbatim to me. She was like, I don't have time to start working on this business and it take, 12 months to get out the ground. Or even for it to take 12 months for me to realize that it's not gonna work. And I was like, well, then you don't want to be in business because as an individual, you need that 12 months to understand everything. And because I was jumping around from so many coaches trying to, get everything at once, you end up training for something that you're not in that season yet. And it kind of reminds me of like if you're trying to, run around the block, get consistent with running around the block. Well, why would you go get a coach who can help you do a marathon? It's like you're not even in that season. And that's what I felt like when I look back. I think that's what happened with the whole coaching thing. I'm like, the best thing for me was the LinkedIn coaching. I was in that season. I was trying to grow my LinkedIn audience. I, went through the curriculum and I was putting things in place immediately. And then, once you get a little bit of momentum, you're like, well, maybe I can do that with all these other areas that I want to excel in. Not realizing that you can really only perfect, one, maybe two things at a time. Like you're not going to start a business and every single aspect of it is running to perfection because you just haven't seen enough. You don't know enough. And the only cure for that is time. So that's why I took so much coaching. And I'm just like, what is it about, us high achievers and people who trying to navigate corporate and entrepreneurship and people who just want more than, out of their lives than just having a corporate job. I think it boils back to, our training. We turn to coaching because coaching seems safe. And, school is always the path to take yourself to the next level. But I think when it comes to like the age of the internet, there are so many people that will take your money. There are so many people that will take your money. And what I mean by that is one of the most expensive program that I bought into, I had no business in that program. No business in the program. And I'm not blaming them at all. They have very good marketing. So it's like, don't fall for anybody's really good marketing. I didn't even really know what I was getting myself into. I just knew I wanted the result. And it was a business coach for launching. And I just knew I wanted a result. And I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And of course, when I got in there, I'm like, this is not, I don't need this. I'm not ready for this. And I'm gonna give you a full example. The coaching program, once you got into the meat of it, what they were actually showing people how to do was to host webinars. Well, that strategy absolutely does work under one condition. You already have an audience that's willing and ready to buy from you. That was left out. And of course, the person selling the program, they're not going to tell you that. And I don't think maybe I just didn't discuss it with anybody who could put it in those terms for me. But I had to learn that the hard way. And I'm like, yes, people, when they promote the results of their coaching program, they are usually accurate, but they're not being honest about the background of the people who wrote those testimonials, their exact situation. And so if you're a small creator or you're just trying to get your business off the ground, the only way the webinar game works is if you can get 50, 100 people on the call and your goal is to convert 5 to 10%, right? That's still a very successful webinar. But if you have a small audience and you can only get 10 people on the call, it doesn't sound like you're even ready to be learning the webinar strategy, right? That's what I mean by the only way to figure that out is by trial and error. By understanding that, like, no, what is it that you're actually selling? And am I in a season to fully take advantage of that? And then not only take advantages, am I ready to take action? Having been in so many coaching programs, the other thing that I really have gotten to see up close and personal and being a coach myself is that it's how people actually behave when they're in these programs. And it doesn't matter how much they spent. Most people don't come. I mean, I've sold things myself and people not show up to a single call. And it's like, maybe I had good marketing. The marketing was so good that it got you to take action, which is, positive, right? It's positive that you got up off your tail, but it's not enough just to stand up out of the seat. You got to walk. You got to start running. And so I think signing up for the course is like a little baby step that makes people feel good. And I think that's why so many people, they're talking about the course industry, and I'm a victim too. I have also bought courses that I never logged into. And it's like, felt good in the moment. But, even I have been victim of not actually taking advantage of what I purchased. And coaches hate that, right? They want everybody who buys their program to turn into a testimonial of some sort. And so when you don't even open the course or you don't even join the calls or you don't even participate in the program that you bought into, it's like, what was there to be gained from that? And so I'm not saying that you shouldn't look for coaching, but I'm saying you need to be in the right season and you need to be ready to take action. And that's another reason why you can't sign up for 4 or 5 different things at the one time, because you're not going to go to all those calls. You're not going to do all those things. And that's why I'm really protective about what I subscribe to in general. In general, I'm very protective with my email. I am on Substack. I'm an avid Substacker, but everybody's not getting my email address. Why? Because I can't read all of your content, even if I wanted to. I cannot read 30 newsletters. And I don't think you should try, because all those 30 newsletters are not relevant to where you are in this current moment. And I think that's another thing, when you buy into coaching or you look for coaching, you're trying to skip steps. That's the whole point of it, skipping steps, right? But you can't skip a year. It just, the law of physics won't allow that. You can't skip a year. You can skip weeks, right? Somebody could teach you a strategy, or you can watch them do something that can take you weeks ahead of where you were at most. Anything beyond weeks, you don't have the architecture, you don't have the bandwidth, you don't actually have the things in place that are required to make that happen. And that kind of goes back to my example with the webinar, right? You can't, if you only got a few people who willing to get on a call with you, what are you doing trying to learn how to do webinars to sell to hundreds of people at a time? And I think where there is a little bit of disservice in the coaching industry is that, as great as your program is, if you're a coach, and as many testimonials as you have, you know exactly who's ready to do what you're selling or not. You know who's ready to do it, and you know who you kind of just taking their money. So that did kind of that portion of it rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, and I was, very cognizant of who I allowed myself to coach. It's like, if it was just a hopeless case, I mean, I was on a smaller scale, right? I was taking individual clients, and so I get it when you're selling, packages daily, and you're selling cohorts, and you're trying to have 40 or 50 people sign up. You don't have the let me just say bandwidth. You don't have the bandwidth to go through each of those applications and actually vet them. And when they say they're vetting your application, they're lying. They're vetting your ability to pay. That's pretty much all they're vetting. And I'm not going to say this is all coaches, but I do think a lot of the coaches that boomed between 2020 and 2023 were cut from the same cloth. And then, I mean, even just during that time, I think about the amount of coaches that were literally running Ponzi schemes. And I just saw a guy a couple days ago on YouTube, and his video that caught my attention was, I posted every day for 52 weeks, not every day. I posted every week for 52 weeks, and here's my results. And so now, because I have such a keen eye to, like, when I'm being sold something and when people are trying to push an agenda, I'm like, let me do my background research. He did say one or two things in the video that made sense, right? Okay, so even a broke clock is right twice a day. So he said a couple things that made sense, but I'm like, he said he posted every day for 52 weeks. Let me go see what he was posting about. I scrolled through his timeline. Every day for the last not every day, every week for the last 52 weeks, he's been posting about YouTube growth. And I'm like, this just don't seem ethical. If you're going to present yourself as if you're going to help people grow their YouTube who are not talking about YouTube growth, you need to be transparent about that. That is completely, your results and what you saw by posting every week about how to make people grow their YouTube is different from what the gardener or the farmer or the marketer or the therapist is going to see by posting every week, 52 weeks. She's not going to see the same results as you. And so I'm like, this is kind of Ponzi scheme-ish, because you're selling something to people who are not, they're not even the segment of what you're talking about. So I went back to his content, and I'm not going to say exactly what he was talking about, but let's just say he had a random topic. So 2 years ago, he was talking about a random topic. And exactly a year ago, he shifted to talking about YouTube growth. And now he has not posted about anything since. And so I'm like, if you're going to be ethical and talk to people about how to grow their YouTube channel, talk to people about how your random content grew. Because the last 52 weeks was not random content. So it didn't teach you anything. And so the same thing happened with all those coaches. It's like, you're teaching people how to do better marketing, but you don't have any examples outside of selling them your course where you've done other marketing. It's like, don't be sold when unless the person has other receipts. And that is my threshold now. It's like, if you're going to sell me or teach me how to do YouTube, I want to see your content, your non-YouTube growth content. How is that doing? What did that teach you? If you're going to teach someone marketing, you better have a B2B marketing agency or something outside of what you're selling. And that's where the Ponzi scheme part comes in, because it's like, you're putting out testimonials saying that you have, you're showing your 50 best students and how they're doing, what their results were, or even just how many people, your Stripe notifications or whatever. But it's like, you don't have the experience yourself. You're learning on them. They are the product and the customer. So these are just some things that I kind of ran into that I just learned over time. And I know getting a coach and, finding someone who has done the thing that you want to do is probably the first lever that people pull when they decide they want to do something outside of corporate. And so I wanted to share just a little bit about that. It's kind of been on my heart, And I think knowing, the background behind coaching and how it can sometimes be good and sometimes be bad, I think that also played into my lack of desire to want to continue being a coach as well. Because I talked about a little bit about people's behavior, and I also shared how people have bought my stuff and not shown up. And it's like, when you are a creator and you take the time to create a course and you create a program and you block time on your calendar to help people do the thing that they said they want to do, and they don't show up, then you start to realize that, like, well, this only works like if I can actually get people to move and to take the steps, right? I have this fabulous strategy laid out for them if they take advantage of it and if they do the things. But being on the other side taught me that you can't actually get people to do anything. You might be able to have some really good marketing and get them to whip out their credit card, but to actually get them to follow your process and take the steps that are necessary to seek or be successful, you have no control over that. And for me, that was just too much stress. I'm like, why am I more worried about it than other people? I know how to do it. And so I know going forward, I don't think coaching is something that I'm offering, in my own personal brand. I'm taking more of a model of, you can join me while I'm doing what I'm doing. And then you can ask me whatever questions you want to ask me along the way, and I'll stop and I'll help you. But that, at least, it takes effort on your part to at least show up. If I say every Wednesday at 12 o'clock, I'm going to be online. And I'm working on my own stuff, right? So I'm not feeling like I'm showing up for y'all and I'm wasting my time and I'm trying to, drag people across the finish line. Nope, I'm going to be online working on my own stuff. And if you got something you working on and you want a community and you want some support and you got some questions, I'm here for you. And that just makes it, that just reduces the stress on both ends, I think. The creator is not stressed about forcing people to get results and forcing them to show up to things they don't want to do. And you, as the coachee, you can show up when you want to. Show up when you want to, take what you need. And I think I'd rather everybody just take what they need than to sign up for a 12-week. I would never. But, for example, sign up for a 12-week course knowing you only got about 2 weeks of it in you. And it's like, you really could have watched a YouTube video. You really could have found somebody, an expert on YouTube, doing what you're trying to do, and watch them for the week that you were actually interested in it. And so maybe that's what people should do. Like, if it's something new you want to learn, if it's something new you want to get into, it's like take the, I don't want to say cheap and I don't want to say free, but I mean, it takes action or effort, I should say, to watch somebody's YouTube video, watch 5 of their YouTube videos, take some notes, and actually do the things that they said do. That's exactly what happens in the coaching program, except you paid for it and you still didn't do it. So I'm not saying don't take the coaching program. If you find a coach who's in a season, who's teaching a topic that is a right now issue for you, not something that might be an issue next week, that next year I'm going to want to grow my podcast, that 2 years from now I'm going to want to have, a 7-figure year. Like, what is a pressing issue for you right now? And I think that's probably what it is. People are buying coaching programs for things that are not pressing issues. They're just desires. Because if it's a pressing issue, you're going to join the call. You're going to do exactly what they say because you need it done. Like, you're like, this is a problem for me. And I think that's what I'm going to do moving forward. And I've actually already started. I got a couple of people on YouTube that, I show up to religiously, and they're talking about something that's in my current season. And I just think there are more ways to support people now. I think, back in 2020 to 2024, if you were to, start to like somebody whose content you were engaging in, it's almost natural to think, oh, I want to support them, or, maybe I've learned a couple of things from them. But I just would say, keep the commitment small. Be mindful. I said I spent $20,000. I paid one person 10, a 3, a 1,500, a couple random thousands. And so it's like, figure out what your threshold is for low commitment, not low commitment, but low financial commitment. And being in a season that you are right now with a pressing issue and something you're going to take action on. Like, we got to stop buying courses and not opening them up. Because then it makes it makes it just so much harder for the people who have real courses. It makes it harder for them to sell because everybody is so burned out. And just while I'm here, I mean, I think in the age of AI and the age of social media and all this, people want you. People want interpersonal relationship and they want proximity to you. It's like, if somebody buys into your program, and that's what when I look back, I think that's what I was doing too. I was buying for proximity. And sometimes I needed it and sometimes I didn't. But when you're buying for proximity, it might not matter what the person is selling. You know that there's something you can learn from them or take from them. And even in the programs that I had no business in, there were some things that I was able to take from them. And that I was able to, carry forward and use it in the season that I was in. But I think the days of like just putting information out there, that people can get information. There's no shortage of information. Like, if you're selling information, you have to come better than that now. It can't be information. It has to be implementation. It has to be holding people's hands. It has to be relationship building, the things that AI can't do. So I've given you my thoughts, my ramblings today about taking action, sometimes to a fault, right? Like me, I was so hell bent on taking action that I was buying coaching programs that I didn't need and wasting money and buying courses that I still haven't opened to this day. So use me as a cautionary tale. Take action for the season that you're actually in. Take action, with a small financial sacrifice, and push yourself to actually follow through with the commitment. Because action builds confidence, and confidence is what actually builds the cash. Not the coaching program, not the cheat code, not the skipping the steps. It's action, then confidence, then cash. That's all I got for today, guys.